Welcome everyone. Greetings. It's nice to see you all in this class. My name is Nevin and we're going to be doing chair yoga in this class with an emphasis on bone density building, fall prevention, maybe another way of looking at it. And I would like to have it from a positive angle, and you'll get what I mean by this positive angle when we approach to bone density building. So I'm a yoga teacher as well as Qigong and mindfulness instructor. So I combine a lot of mindfulness, especially in the movements. So it's not going to be just like simple movements, but there's going to be a lot of invitation for you to become more aware of the body as well as the mind, because it can go anywhere and can create sometimes problems for us. So for the class, I'm sitting on a chair. I have a blanket here just to cover during the shavasana. I'm not going to be covering myself, but again, just as a reminder for you. And I have yoga blocks here. Yoga block or something else sometimes may be helpful if your feet doesn't reach all the way down to the floor. So you may use them under your foot just to have kind of additional support. And I also have my water bottle handy here. And it's always good to have some water intake, hydration happening. Because as you will see, we will have a bit of a heated practice today, actually, as we incorporate these movements recommended by American Bone Health, I think, organization. That's maybe association, one of those. But they have some set, and they also have regular webinars actually focusing a lot on how can we maintain bone health overall, what kind of movements can be helpful, what kind of nutrition could be helpful in that regard. So we're going to incorporate those in the session. And as we are recording, hopefully you can come back to this class maybe once in a week or so, maybe every 2 weeks or so. So as we begin, now turning into yoga, and yoga means really like coming into now. That's how we begin all the time, just this moment, feeling our feet and feeling our body. A lot of times as the mind is too busy, we don't feel anything with the body. So just to increase this sense of more awareness of the body, bring your shoulders to the ears, really intense, almost like squeeze here and then drop. Do that a couple of more times. Shoulders to the ears, shrugging the shoulders, and then release. Let's do one more time, and this time we're going to hold it here. So hold it here and turn your head side to side a little bit, like tiny, teeny movement, exaggerating this tightness in your shoulders. A lot of times we carry so much in our shoulders. And then slowly release as you roll your shoulders back. Allow your neck to be long and maybe slightly kind of opening. And just take a moment to feel neck and shoulders, any changes. Now bring the hands on the sides, almost like the side of your nipples on your side body. Just massage with the inner seam of your hands a little bit. And then bring it down to the diaphragm area, right under the ribs, sides, and then the back. Again, above, on the ribs and below the ribs. Just massage a little bit, just to have both increased awareness of the body. And when we do this, this is almost like a massage for our kidneys. Kidneys are, I would say, like the main source of bone health in the body, because they produce a hormone that in a way like governs in a way the what's happening with our bones, because there is a process, and this hormone is like the triggering that process to work in like good amounts, let's say. Because there is in the bones, there is the process that's happening. We're forming the bones, and then there is another process that kind of counteracts, and it kind of destroys the bones. So we're working with the kidneys, or warming up the kidneys a little bit to have them a bit more active, and then like be part of the game here, because they are the main thing. They play some other roles also in this whole process that we're going to be touching upon. And now release. So just take a moment to feel like upper body, the lung area, the back, maybe the kidney area that we massaged, maybe feeling a little bit warmer. And feel your whole torso now. Your eyes may be closed if you're feeling comfortable. Expanding and contracting with the breath. So allow yourself to really connect with this moment of expansion. And then soft release or contraction. Feel almost like the body expanding, rising, and then gently falling. Try just to lower the breath, if possible, towards the belly. If it helps, you can place one hand in your, just on your belly. And exhaling. As you're doing that, have as much as possible again the breath, the length of the inhalation and exhalation equal. Maybe counting up to like 4, 5, or even 6 could be helpful in that one. So inhaling 2, 3, 4, exhaling 2, 3, 4. Continue on your own like that, maybe counting if it helps. And if the breath goes longer, maybe counting up to 6. And then exhaling. Same length, trying to almost like bring here something like steady, smooth breath rhythm so that the nervous system will start to like soften a little bit, just like shifting from like constant movement and striving, this fight and flight, sympathetic kind of action, to parasympathetic, just like softer, or like the sense of like things are okay. So do that 3 more times. Intentional breath, counting if you like, but being fully aware of the inhalation and then the exhalation. One last time. And exhale. And then just check for a moment or notice how you are feeling right now. And now as we're starting to move intentionally again, in coordination with the breath, bring the hands onto your shoulders and make a circle with the elbows, opening all out to the sides. And you can add a little bit of a spinal rounding when you bring the elbows close, and then reaching forward with the chest as you try to take the elbows back. So we're doing 2 things actually, both like the shoulder joints and then the arms moving as well as the spine. So we're rounding and then arching the spine also. Do that a couple of more like that. Feel shoulder joints are becoming really active. If you have shoulder issues, maybe your movement is going to be just like that. So you may not be able to come all the way, kind of bringing them together. Or if you want to go for like this version, that's also an option. You can open whole shoulders. But if you have any shoulder issues, this would be impossible maybe. It's okay, just for today. Maybe some other times it's going to be different. So just do that 2 more times like that. Big nice opening through the elbows, and then the spine is also moving. And then next time when you have the elbows opening out to the side, just stay here, relax the shoulders down, and then open the arms out to the side and start to circle. The areas of the body which gets most kind of fragile or maybe prone to a fracture as we get older, wrists is one area, neck and shoulder is another area, and then the hips. Those are ankles also a little bit, the most critical areas. So these kind of very simple movements for the wrists and hands can be very helpful and very easy. You don't need anybody to kind of instruct you. Now, and just do it anytime you would like to. Now, open your fingers out to the sides a little bit, and now just push the hands away. So you're pressing the bases of your palms out. Feel how that kind of stretches all your lower arms. And then soften that stretch and do it more like tiger claws, as we call it. Circle or like folding the fingers all the way and then opening. If you want to hold your arms a little bit open like that and then do this way, it's fine, or otherwise facing towards the front. Do that one more time. And now make a fist with your hands and then bring the hands maybe towards the front this time and circle a few times. We're trying to increase circulation in the joint, and then overall kind of we're stretching all these muscles, as you can feel. You can go slower to feel. Oh my God, I feel so much around my wrists. Just do that a little bit more. Reversing the circle if you haven't done it already. And now we're gonna just do a massage around the wrist, basically. There are some good acupuncture points around the wrists, and I know so many people having thumb issues, so it's good to have this area kind of like moving. You can have it like downwards or towards the elbow, just to activate, and then towards the fingers. Just have the energy in this whole pathway kind of moving nicely, and then give a nice squeeze to your fingers. And then just shake this a little bit, release, and take a moment to feel how does that arm feels, the wrist and then the hands. And then we're going to do the same thing here, massaging this other wrist, just around the wrist area. You can also take time to kind of do this almost like a squeeze, release as well. Both versions would work. And then now flowing or letting things to kind of flow, both lymph and nerves and blood. And then outwards towards your hand, towards the fingers. And then give a nice squeeze. Nice squeeze, you know? And then release. So just take a moment to feel your whole arms all the way to the neck. Now, just a few things for the neck also. Just be careful with this, please. You don't need to make like any big moves because the vertebra around the neck is very sensitive. And dropping the face, like almost like nose towards the chest a little bit, and then lift it up. Again, it doesn't have to be a big movement. Overall, during the class, anything that I'm guiding you, please be careful. You don't have to do everything that I'm telling you to do. It's more important for you to be in touch with your body, like knowing inside, how does that feel? And if it doesn't feel good, don't do that. There's no need to hurt yourself or give yourself an extra pain, as we're trying to build this kind of good self-care routine to have almost like a better relationship with ourselves. We're taking care of ourselves from a place of self-love and self-compassion, not fear, or not like pushing ourselves too hard, or like, this is not like a performance that we're doing here. So do that one more time, gently down and up, and then come back to neutral. This time adding both the arms and the neck area. Have your hands facing downward, in front, maybe around, like a little bit above the belly. And inhale here. And when you exhale, open the arms out to the side. Stretch this whole line of your arms and turn your head to one hand. And then back to the center when you inhale again. Exhaling, open the hands out to the sides. And you're stretching both this whole line of your arms and the neck, as you can tell, and turning to the other side. And then back to the center. when you are opening to the or stretching to the sides, make it as comfortable as it feels to you. Sometimes you can open them a little bit more, gaze a little bit more, but make sure that the neck vertebra is okay as you're doing this. Maybe it's a gentle turning like that in itself. And let's do one more time each side. Exhaling, opening, inhaling. And then the other side. And from here, just open your hands out to the sides, face towards the front, and then bring the hands at the back now. If it feels comfortable, interlace the hands, maybe scooch yourself a little bit towards the front of the chair, and then push the hands, interlaced hands away from you. So you're opening almost like the front of the chest. If the hands don't interlace, it's okay, just reach backwards, hands open, out to the sides. And then slowly release. One more time, feel. Maybe again, just there's a little bit of a difference. Maybe this time neck area is also feeling a little bit more active. Just keep checking, how does that feel in the body? Am I okay with this? And then as you exhale, let's begin now to focusing on the lower body. We're gonna do almost like the same thing for the lower body to activate all of the joints before we start doing the standing movements. So bring one knee towards the chest, give it a nice squeeze as you are maintaining your spine as high, as tall as possible. Posture is important as we talk a lot about in these classes, but in this one also try to have this upright posture as you are squeezing, activating. And when I draw my knee like that, the crease of the hip is very close, but at the same time, I'm kind of keeping it lifted with the chest. And then let's do one more time. Release. And now we're gonna have hold, bring your knee towards the chest and hold it here and circle. Ankles, ankles, ankles. You can do this several times and then hold it here without circling. But I guess you can see what I'm doing. Open, like fan your toes out and then squeeze them. Open, 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 and then squeeze. If you run into a newborn baby these days, which may not be easy to find, but I was watching a video recently, how babies work with their fingers and toes. It was just fascinating. All the time, the baby was doing something with the hands or the toes, opening wide, 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 and then sometimes squeezing them together. So we're trying to almost like activate our natural reflexes to have these things open wide instead of like squeezed in your shoes, you know. We have these tight shoes, wide, 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 opening, opening, opening the toes, and then release. And just check again, how does that leg feel now, including all the way down to the toes. Moving on to the other side, starting with the ankle rotation. These kind of simple circular rotations are really great for overall maintaining joint mobility. As we get older, things get stiff, especially if we don't move the joints. And now hold here. Try to do the same thing, like fan out, open, 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 like stretch all your toes and then squeeze them together. There are some exercises actually, if you have some toes or like feet issues, you can bring like a towel under your feet and then squeeze, 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 almost like try to lift the towel up. And then release. So do that a couple of more times. Big wide opening for your toes. And then release. These are among my favorite things to do, by the way, when I come, especially if I spend the entire day outside and kind of standing at work or something. So just like do these things to make your toes and feet feel good. Let's do that one last time. Opening, opening, opening. And then squeeze, and then release. Feel now everything, the hip joints, knees, ankles, all the way to the toes. And imagine that we're starting to walk from here. Couple of like normal, let's say, walking. If you want to go faster, you can do that too, to almost like increase the heartbeat, which is gonna change soon. So far, we weren't exactly doing a lot, I would say. And then just stop again, pause and feel. Now maybe you're feeling all of the muscles kind of activated a little bit more. And take a moment to even like close your eyes and feel your whole body. Lower body, legs and all the joints, torso, trunk, and then the arms, upper body. Almost like checking your connection with the body. Ah, yeah, I'm a little bit more aware of my body right now. And now we're gonna heat things up, or maybe spice it up a little bit. And before we do this, it's always good to have some hydration going on. So now we're going to be moving into those movements that I was talking about. One of them is these squats, or in yoga we call this like chair pose. It's almost like a little bit sometimes called like awkward pose also, so it can be awkward. So we're going to start slowly. So inhaling, arms reaching up. Exhaling, lean forward with the torso. Try to maintain like whole spine. Almost like straight, I would say, in its natural curves, but you're not like rounding or anything. Try to have this long spine. Just move a few more times like that. And exhale. And then slowly we're going to be shifting the focus. So when you take the hands backwards, have your weight also shifting towards your like toes, as if you're going to lift up. And then release. This is also something that anybody can do almost like any time. You're sitting at the front edge of the chair, by the way. And then maybe this time try to lift the hips a little bit up off the chair. And then release. Even like less than an inch. You are trying to lift your hips. Inhale one more time. And then lifting. This time really make sure that you're lifting your hips. Press your feet firmly down. Engage your belly as the arms reaching back. See if you can lift the hips. It requires a lot of work, right? I need to engage all my kind of muscles, big muscles of the legs, as well as the belly. And we're gonna do this one more time. And for your arm position, instead of maybe reaching backwards, we're gonna, we'll bring them towards the front. So again, inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, as the hands reach back, lift the hips up off the floor. So feel now you are on your, almost like your heels mostly. 70% of your weight is on your heels. Feel your strong legs. And from here, if you like, you can bring your hands onto the front or out to the side, whichever kind of feels better for you. But feel your strong legs and then lift it up maybe 2 inches off the chair. And then go slowly back to the chair. If you need to get support, maybe bring the hands onto the chair and then sit back as you count maybe up to 3, 4. That's quite a lot of work, right? And if you do this maybe 3 or 4 times at your convenience, or maybe any time when you are getting out of a chair where you may be sitting, when you are eating, for example, or working. So just to keep in mind, they recommend doing this, versions of this, basically slowly lifting and then slowly sitting back 8 times. Yeah, 8 times. So keep that in mind. Let's do that one more time and then we're going to come into a standing version. And I like to do this like a couple of times, maybe just lifting and then almost like preparing the body for what is to come, slowly, almost like still part of the weight is on the chair or the hips, still touching. And then exhaling. And then next one, I generally like to kind of lift in the third one fully. So engage your belly slowly. Keep the spine long. Your feet are firm. Toes are opening out. Lifting yourself up. And then slowly from here, opening the arms out to the side. And then coming up all the way. And feeling, oh my God, I'm so glad that we're back. We're standing, right? Inhale here. And as you exhale, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Just take a moment to let the hands touch and breathe in. And breathe out. Through the mouth. So do that one more time. Full nice breath in. And exhale. Release your hands. And as we will move on to the other movements and other stuff, just move your chair to one side, doesn't matter which side. But before we move, again, quite active leg strengtheners, just move yourself a little bit side to side. It's an opportunity, as we have been sitting for some time. We're trying to activate the fronts of the legs and then the mid part or upper low back maybe a little bit. So just swinging the arms side to side. This is also good for overall, even they say it helps, these kind of movements help to harmonize right and left hemispheres of the brain, because we are moving from one direction to the other. The spine is rotating a little bit like that. And then slow it down. And notice how things are. Feeling maybe like everything moving now in the body. This internal awareness of the body is so important as we stay connected with what's happening inside, so that we can monitor our monkey minds, which tends to go everywhere. It's good to be aware of the feet touching to the ground, or legs, like feeling our strong, big kind of leg muscles holding us upright. Now moving on to the next one. And this one is very easy. There are always variations. It's basically heel lifts. So we're activating the calf muscles. This is going to help both to strengthen the tendons that are close to the feet, and overall entire leg kind of strength is going to be built. Your hands can be on the chair. If you want to do this without touching the chair, if you're feeling comfortable, be my guest. Otherwise, your hands can be on the chair. And then lifting the heels. You can see my feet lifting and dropping. And this can be done very fast, multiple times, maybe 100 times. Like when you're doing something in the kitchen, or, I don't know, waiting on the grocery checkout line, or wherever it can be done, anywhere, if the balance is not an issue for you. And then the version that is recommended is actually slow. You're lifting and then slowly releasing. Inhaling and releasing, maybe up to a count of 3, 4, 8 times they recommend. And I add on top of this some kind of variations, if you may consider it like that. Maybe holding in the middle and then dropping. Lifting, holding in the middle, and then dropping. Again, you can come up with your version. It doesn't have to be, but the idea is when I lift my heels like that, the calf muscles are so squeezed, you're feeling, right? This is also helping the blood circulation to get better in the body, because everything is kind of pushed back up towards the heart. We're helping the circulation and of the body. The other version could be to do this just one-legged. So I'm going to be using this side, And then this one is just there, but it's not really doing anything. So lifting that heel. This one is empty, as we call it in Qigong, and this one is the one working. So lifting. This leg can be on the side if you like, or back, or like anywhere. But notice it gets tough, right, when we do it with one leg. Let's do a few for this leg too. Again, one leg is not very doing anything active. And release. Lifting. You can even do, if you want to go really kind of hardcore, stay here, go halfway, still one-legged. This leg is not doing anything. Of course, making sure that your knees are comfortable with that, and then coming up. So without going all the way down, and then lifting up. Feel free to really come up with your own version. Like, it could be anything. I may not even like think of it right now, but you're feeling how the leg, all the muscles and the joints are getting active. Release, and let's just do about 10 like random. We're lifting, releasing, lifting, releasing. And I guess it's about 10 now. Release. And check again how the legs are feeling. Calf muscles, back of the legs, all the way to the Achilles tendon, all the way to the even like the low back area. And we're gonna move on now to another one. In yoga, we call this like crane pose. One-legged stance. It's helpful for the balance and definitely for leg strengthening. So slowly like shifting your weight onto that foot, that leg, and then lifting the knee up. The version that is recommended there is just like hold it here for maybe a couple of seconds and then release. You can do only just like one side several times and then move to the other side, or I'm going to be moving just from one side to another. For this version, just hold it for a couple of seconds and release. This one seems to be, oh, like this is too easy. What am I going to get out of this? That was my like first reaction. Then I added something to it. So let's add this one. Again, be creative. You can come up with your own versions. Lifting the hands, for example, or rather the knee, and then maybe opening the arm out to the side and releasing. Again, for this one, you would need to do maybe just one-sided if you're concerned about the balance challenge. And then that. And then the other version would be opening both hands and then holding it like that for a couple of seconds. And then release. Things change, right, when we add other elements. So you can adapt in line with where you are. It doesn't have to be exactly the way I'm kind of guiding. Again, the other side. And then release. One other version of the same thing. Lift the leg, extend it to the front, flex the toes so they come closer towards the knee. Hold it here for 2 seconds. Lift it up again, hold it here for a couple of seconds, and then release. This one also, for me, really makes a big difference. Almost like the same thing, but adding this extension of the leg could be a lot. Extend, straighten the leg, and then bend, and release. Let's do that one more time. We're going to hold maybe for a couple of seconds. So hold it here for, let's say, 5 seconds. And then straighten. Doesn't have to be up or anything, but make the leg very active. So you're pushing the heel away from you and then drawing the toes closer. Hold it here for a few seconds. And then bend it again. Hold it here for a few seconds. You start to feel it, right? And then release. Oh my God, I'm feeling a lot actually, both in this leg as well as in this one. And then now to the other side again, doing the same thing. Are you breathing deep and nice? You know the drill now. And then straighten and push it actively. Heel is going away from you as the toes are coming closer, like that, or like this maybe. And then bend it and then hold it here for a couple of seconds. And then slowly release. And then feel. This requires for me, as we are really activating the hip flexors, a little bit of a stretch. So turn your curl the toes under. So let this whole line of the body to stretch. Add your arm if you like, reaching up. It could be up towards the sky or maybe a little bit out to the side. Opening this whole front line of the body. And as you exhale, release. Let's do the same thing for the other side. Again, toes tucked under or kind of curled outward maybe. It's not like the usual way we would curl, but opening entire front line and then out up towards the sky or out to the side a little bit. And as you exhale, release. Just come back to, again, neutral position. The last one is also about building almost like buttocks and leg strength combined. And the shift is again onto one leg. When we have this one-legged stance, a lot of times we're going to be activating many more muscles actually, and then the balance, of course, many things kind of come into play. So shifting your weight onto one leg again, one foot, and then opening the leg out to the side and then bringing it in. Your hands can be on your hips or maybe on the chair. For this one, the idea is not like to open it all the way out also. We're trying to maintain the levelness of the hip bones. That's key actually. Because if you make it like too much, it's gonna hurt on different places, let's say in your side. And the recommended version is you're holding again for a few seconds. So open the leg out to the side and hold for a few seconds. Release. Let's do 3 more. Open, release. Just a couple of seconds of holding here without rushing. Feel you're really activating all the glutes, like medius on the side and then the back. Last one, and we're going to hold it here for maybe a few seconds. How about that? And then release. I feel both of my legs actually active, not only this one, but this one is also getting quite active when I do this. And then let's do the other side. Just changing the position. Just opening again, feeling the weight shift. Okay, everything is on this one now. And then opening out to the side without making like a big move. Just trying to pay attention to this pelvis area. Being almost like neutral. A little bit of tilting, but not too much. It doesn't have to be big. I'm not doing it here, but when I do these kind of things, sometimes I like to add these plastic bands that you wrap around your legs. It can be quite something like when you have something like that, because you're, again, applying a lot of kind of stretching force and now holding here. So you can do that when you have more time or when you're doing this on your own. Very simple things. They're not like rocket science. They do take time though. You need to dedicate half an hour or so, but I think that is not undoable, like a couple of times in a week for our all maintaining our strength from a place of love and care. And Let's do that one more time, and we're going to hold it here. And feel everything. And then as you exhale, release. And then just do something like that so that the legs are feeling like, oh, okay. And just do that. Maybe even something like that. As we worked a lot with the low back or lower body areas. And from here, I'm just going to move my chair to this side. We're slowly going to be going down towards the ground on our mats. If for any reason going all the way down to the mat doesn't feel right for you, or you don't like doing this, you don't need to. But I'm going to be slowly guiding us now to go towards the ground. So walk yourself back a little bit, and with your hands come into a nice stretch, downward facing human being. And maybe bending and straightening one leg at a time. Legs worked quite hard today. The kidney connection, as we are kind of taking a few moments to stretch the legs and arms and everything, is actually quite important, as I was saying earlier, because of this hormone that is released for bone health. But from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, which I'm studying, kidneys are responsible from the emotion of fear. So if we have a lot of fear in our lives, it could be also because of having osteoporosis or something like that. We're going to be almost like worsening our situation. So the idea is, how can we be a little bit more, I would say, like taking care of our fears? If there is maybe, I know it's not always easy to do something, but becoming aware of the fears and almost like softening ourselves gently, saying maybe like this is okay, could be a way to deal with fear. And try to watch out how much fear do you have in your life, and kind of find practices to self-soothe or self-heal or self-compassion. And then slowly just stay here after a few kind of moments for the legs. And then we'll slowly come down. Maybe with a squat like that, if the knees and hips are okay. Otherwise, coming all the way down when you are ready. Let me move this chair to the side. We're going to come all the way down. There is just one more thing that I want to show to you guys. This is also good for upper back mostly. It's going to be a back bend. So as you come all the way down, you can bring everything almost like down here. This upper back and kind of neck strength, mid-back strength. Have your hands on the ground. I still have the blanket under my feet. It's okay. You don't have to have anything like that. But so when you are ready, with your inhalation, start to press your pubic bone down, engage your glutes at the back, and start to lift the head and chest up. You can add your hands here, maybe lifting a little bit, and then release. Shavasana. A gentle back bend. Activating your pubic bone, pressing it down, glutes engaged here, and keep the spine long. You don't need to come all the way down. We're not doing cobra, all the way up rather. And do that a couple of more times, lifting the hands, releasing. One last time like that. Press the pubic bone down, shoulders away from the ears, lift the front, upper body, engage the glutes. And then lift it up, and then as you exhale, slowly release everything down. Bring your hands maybe under your face or on the sides or like this. So whichever kind of feels right for you. And take a few moments to rock your hips. I hope you can see I'm kind of rocking my hips side to side to release things, to let go. And we will slowly turn ourselves to face up towards the ceiling. You can also bend your knees, by the way, here. And rock like that. This feels really like nice. Oh, it feels good for the lower back, for the glutes that we have really worked hard. Release, and then now turn yourself to face up towards the ceiling. We're just gonna do a few things and then we'll move on to shavasana. This was a lot of work today. And as you come up this time to face up, just take a moment to feel, let your knees bend, and then feel this sense of, oh my God, we are finally on the ground. Just take a big nice inhale here. Exhale out through the mouth. Sighing it out, almost like recognizing this, like, oh, a lot of action, a lot of movement. Now is the time to relax and soften and just enjoy, almost like the dessert of the practice, as we say in yoga, whereas we are slowly transitioning into shavasana. So bring your knees towards your chest. First rock side to side for a few moments. And then now a little bit more intentionally. Try to maintain, by the way, as we're doing this, your tailbone right under here, still on the ground. The tendency would be kind of to lift everything up, but it's not good for the spine health overall. So try to maintain the tailbone still on the ground. And now make circles with the knees. Your hands are on the kneecaps. And as you are circling, have this sense of like, oh, this feels so good. And you can do this either both knees moving together, one direction and then the other, or maybe opening them a little bit out like that. If you're not in a position to have your hands on the kneecaps, it's okay. Maybe you're holding the back of the knees and then moving a little bit like that. But this is really good to do, by the way, after the back bend that we did earlier. So we're trying to do almost like a counter pose. Now opening the knees wide, if you like, and then reversing the direction. And as you do this, maybe one last time like that, release again, your feet on the ground, just let them be flat, and have your hands on maybe on your belly. Just feel the breath. Feel your whole lower body, all the joints. Feel almost like the connections, things moving, muscles, because we're really increasing the circulation, so the sensation, awareness of those parts of the body is going to be a little bit more increased. And now we're moving into this figure 4 pose, as we call. This can be done even like seated, but the one on the ground that we do is kind of the easiest one. And it could be just this one, like you're bringing your ankle on top of the opposite thigh, let's say, and you can just gently press your hand to the knee, same side, hand and knee, and then feel a little bit of stretch. You can flex your toes also to keep it active. And then see if that feels good. You can like rock a little bit side to side and just stay here. And for some of you, there could be other options. Maybe you want to you can grab the back of the thigh and bring the knees a bit closer. Maybe things will feel better. Again, please, individually, just check on your own which one feels better. For some of you, you can grab all the way in front of the shin bone and then stay here. This is going to intensify the stretch. You don't need to go there if this is too much. Another option would be to straighten the leg. So find a version that works for you. I'm going to just stay here. This is kind of nice and easy. And I like sometimes moving just kind of smooth, repetitive move generally feels good for me. And you may choose to just stay still or move a little bit like that. Or maybe you can do something with your ankle here. Really be creative. You don't need to do exactly like what I'm telling you to do. Maybe your body says, no, maybe you don't even want to do this. It's all good. And release. Now bringing the other leg, other ankle, let's say, on the thigh, and maybe just gently at the beginning press the knee a little bit away. So everything, this whole kind of dynamic stretch, let's say, for the leg joints and muscles is feeling good for you. Flex the toes again if you would like. And you choose again if you want to go for these other versions, intenser stretches, please do so. Otherwise, I'm just gonna stay here and just feel this gentle rocking, a sense of, after all these effortful moves, a sense of now, oh no, I'm just enjoying the scenery in a way. Really like feeling this gentle connection with the body, with the sense of like, yeah, I've done so many things now for my body, and without like a fear of like I'm gonna fall and break myself, but with a more sense of like, oh, this is what I can do today, and I've done my best. Having that in a way action from a place of love, from a place of genuine care, you know, like, yeah, you mean it. Not like leaving all the DEXA reports and doctor whatever kind of recommendations, but just have this sense of like, this was what I could do for myself today, and I'm glad that I've done this. And then very slowly release or bring your leg back. And then we'll slowly move on to shavasana, the final relaxation pose. I'm going to come up to a seated position to guide that. But if you would like to do any other thing before we come into final relaxation, you can do that. Maybe sometimes this happy baby could be an option, or sometimes bringing the soles of the feet to touch and then hands under, elbows opening out to the side in the butterfly. Could also be another option. Maybe this is gonna feel nice. So just check if anything else. It could be something completely different as well. If the body would like to do something, you can do that. And I'm slowly coming in. So you're still staying on the ground, please, lying down. And then bringing yourself slowly into shavasana. Your legs can be bent or flat, whichever kind of feels better for you. Just taking a moment to feel all the points of the body touching to the ground. With a sense of almost like curiosity, really get this sense of like which parts exactly are touching right now. Like feeling maybe the heels, back of the legs, parts of the torso, hands, maybe arms, back of the head. And as you are resting here, feel a sense of this, all the contact points slowly almost like widening, expanding, and you are relaxing even more. Feel your whole body from the shoulders all the way down to the feet, softening, relaxing, almost like melting, you know. And then for the front body also, feel the whole body almost like gently opening, soft, light, even maybe around the heart and chest. And soften your eyes, the muscles around the eyes. Let the eyeballs drop back to the eye sockets. Forehead, maybe smoothing out a little bit. Base of the tongue, going deep, soft. Maybe your mouth is opening. Maybe you're feeling almost like there's a weird expression in your face. It's okay. Allowing yourself to be almost like expressionless. And see in that place of expressionless, soft, relaxed body, getting in touch with itself, the body and the mind together. Feeling yourself almost like inside out. The other day I saw this quote which resonated with me so well, I just couldn't believe. And it said, just assume the answer to every question is compassion. I thought, really? Could I assume maybe the answer to any conflict was a little bit more, maybe just like 1 degree of more compassion? Answer to every question. Could that be compassion? So just take a moment to stay with that, maybe the question or exploration inside for a few moments. And slowly start to deepen your breath. Feel your whole body being filled as you take the inhale, and then softly relax as you activate the breath more. Maybe bring some movement into your hands, wrists, feet, ankle, circling, moving, getting active again. If it feels comfortable, you can take the arms up overhead, come into like a big, nice full body stretch. And then circle the arms around to draw your knees towards your chest. And then as you draw the knees towards the chest, again rocking side to side. And take a moment to drop the knees to one side, maybe in fetal position, just 1 or 2 moments. And then preparing to come into a seated position, extend one leg straight and then turn the hands to press down to slowly lift yourself up. And very slowly as you come up, find a position to stay upright a little bit. I'm sitting on a yoga block here. You can be sitting on a cushion, but just take a moment to find your long spine. This sense of your whole body and the mind almost like together, with a little bit of more compassion maybe. Bring your hands in front of the heart as the palms touch. Feel the sensations between your hands. And when you are ready, bringing chin to the chest to bow to the light within. Namaste, everyone. The light within me salutes the light within each and every one of you. Thank you for joining to this practice.